Hi there. Good afternoon, everybody.
Hey.
We are Business Blondes, and we're here at 1 o'clock to give you a muse-bouche, little bite-sized niblets of business wisdom to have with your cup of coffee and your lunch. Welcome. We're really excited about today because we've got a fantastic guest with Simone Alder-Boer, who we're going to find out a bit more later. She's had a very glamorous career in the world of boutique hotels and interior design. It sounds wonderful. But in the meantime, we've got some comical cartoon sound effects coming from Sam, because she has literally got the builders in. And so when she unmutes, those noises are nothing to do with her, but the workmen in the background. So should we go to you first, Sam, and say hi? How's your week been?
Hi, good afternoon, ladies, and yeah, apologies for any really weird noises that are coming from my direction today. I've got my Britney Spears look on, so I'm all good. But yeah, my week's been really good, thank you. Really good. I think that everybody is just absolutely excited about being able to meet up with a friend or a family on Monday onwards, and really enjoy those special friendships and family connections that we've had to sacrifice for so long. So there's a real element of anticipation and excitement and sort of fun and love, I think, in the air at the minute. So it's been a great week, really great week.
Well, for you particularly, because your children go back to school presumably on Monday.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Okay. Well, I just got a survey through, a survey of 1,500 mums and dads. And the survey revealed that employers are being inundated with people wanting Monday morning off so they can have a boozy Sunday night. And 35% said they would be having a boozy Sunday night. 40% said, no, we won't, we'll be sensible. I haven't surveyed. What a good idea.
What's a great idea. But I think not Sunday night, Monday morning when you've dropped off at 9 o'clock, that's the time to get on it, I think. Absolutely.
We're all round to yours then, Sam.
Come
on. Thank you. Kim, how's your week been? What have you got to share?
Yeah, it's been a great week. So my little one, as you know, is still at nursery. So today we have the joys of World Book Day. And I really feel for all those people that aren't having to do it, aren't being given the opportunity to do it this year. I'm sure the parents might be relieved, but I'm sure for the kids, they feel like they're missing out. So my little pickle could barely sleep last night in excitement about spending the day dressed as Elsa. I just trotted it this morning with, I mean, you name it, tiara. She's got the plait. she's living her best life. So I think it's just nice to be able to still see them take part in that. But I do feel for all those people who will have missed out, and hope that next year they get that.
Kim, can I just say 10 out of 10 for effort? Because this morning my 9-year-old logged on to his live lesson and went, Mum, it's World Book Day. I went, oh my gosh, so it is. I'm so sorry. So I just happened to have David Williams' Codename Bananas book that he got for Christmas. So I gave him that and a banana, and I said, hold that up. There's your outfit for the day.
I love it. That's improvisation at its best.
A tiara, plait, and an evening dress. That's what I wear to work every day. I don't know what you're talking about, Kim.
And it did seem to follow on, Caroline, from last week when you were telling us we should all find our tiara. And I did think, and if I thought I could actually hold it up and people could see, I'll be doing this gormlessly with my phone, I would show you the fact that she was fully embracing last week's feedback and has taken that tiara to be part of her daily style.
I'm loving it. Keep your tiara straight and your crown on, everybody. Penny, how's your week been? What have you got to share? What are your observations?
Well, actually, mine, I decided I need to do a bit of content this week because I do love it when I do put some time in. So I've done 2 on LinkedIn. One was about my ducks, which I'm going to talk about at the end of the show because it's quite significant, my ducks that are coming into my life. The other one was about the fact that small is great. And I talked about how I'm happier working with 100 members than I was when I had 650,000, and talking about the importance of not always thinking you need loads of people. You know. Anyway, I wanted to share this because I think it's really poignant. One person commented on this, and I want to share these words. I thought it was so good what he said. He said, I have 21,000 followers on LinkedIn, 37,000 members of my charity UK group, 12,000 members of my education group, just under 5,000 friends on Facebook, and around 4,500 followers on Twitter. Yet, on a day like today, when I'm feeling really low and have largely stayed off social media, I've only had 2 people to reach to. And isn't it interesting? I just think, you know, we talk a lot about this subject, I think, on Business Blondes, but, you know, I think we have to really be careful how much we're just building and building, and what are we building it for? You know, how amazingly vulnerable of him to share that, and what, you know, but what an amazing lesson to us all. So I wanted to share that.
Yeah, it's really quite a deep subject, Penny, about the meaning of all these connections, and are they meaningful, or are they just numbers? And I think it's about how you build on that and make them significant and not just tick boxing things. That's really, really great. Thank you. On my week, I found that a lot of people are saying that they are losing focus, and because they can't see the finish line still. And so I've been saying, when you go for a run, you don't think of the finish line, you just think of the next step in front of you. So don't worry about losing focus, just keep in the now right now, because the finish line is actually on its way. So I think that's what we're trying to help people, not be overwhelmed, not be flat, not be unfocused, just try and do what you can right here, right now. That's what I'm hearing. So welcome, Simone, our special guest this week, and I've got a little bit of exciting blurb on Simone. Simone Alder-Bauer is the founder of Global Inspirations Design, which is a Switzerland-based award-winning boutique interior design consultancy. Simone founded Global Inspirations Design after years of working in the luxury hotel industry. What a lovely job. And she's worked all over the world, and you speak many languages, and her mission is to design sophisticated interiors that provide a sense of home for private individuals. How wonderful, Simone. Welcome.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me.
So tell us a bit about your journey from luxury boutique hotels around the world to narrowing it down to working with private individuals.
Well, I've always had, even as a child, I've always had some interest for design, and I used to love to move around furniture in my bedroom and decorate my room, and changing it around quite often. And that is partially, obviously, I think, influenced by my parents and my upbringing, and their love for architecture. My dad was an architect and engineer. And, it just kind of like was a passion already from early on. But I also always had this desire to explore the world from a very young age. And my favorite toy was actually a globe, which I used to spin and play with and just imagine, what the world is like in different places. And so it kind of these opposing interests. One, the home, which is obviously the most personal space, and on the other hand, the big wide world. And so the passion for exploring and getting to know the world and other people was what led me into my first career, the hotel industry. And my first job was actually in Jamaica. So not the most obvious place in the world, but I just really wanted to go somewhere exotic and experience the world. And I happened to watch a movie when I was 19 that took place in Jamaica, and I completely fell in love. And that's why I say often that Tom Cruise changed my life because he was in the movie. So I took that chance, and I went to Jamaica, and from there it literally started. I studied tourism management as well a few years later, but I really then got into the hotel industry and was traveling all over the world and working in these different hotels. So on one hand, that has influenced me because I've lived on 3 continents in 7 countries, and I moved 25 times. So every time I had to move, I obviously needed to, design my home and decorate it. And that was one of the, best part of moving for me, is to design a home from scratch. And I had a few items that would travel with me around the globe, because I felt like the moment I put down this vase or whatever it is, this is my home now. But at the same time, I would like to, you know, bring in the local culture and understand, you know, the local architecture and design, and kind of like mix and match these, you know, these different design styles. And that just kind of taught me what I like to call a sense of home, because I feel it is so important that we feel, you know, that our home is our safe haven, because that way we can really be our best self and go out into the world as our best self. And especially when you live in a foreign country where you don't understand the culture yet, or the language maybe. I do speak 6 languages, but I've lived in countries where I didn't speak the language. So it's still, you know, it helps you to feel, you know, good about yourself, and because it's your safe place. So that, combined with also the inspiration, obviously, I gained from all these wonderful hotels. And because the last few years that working in the hotel industry, I worked in sales, and I got to travel extensively also for business. And I would always choose the hotel according to their design. So I could explore it, and I would really analyze the design and the materials used, the concept, the colors. And that kind of led to, you know, realizing that I didn't want to just appreciate or enjoy these spaces, but actually create them, which is why I then signed up for KLC School of Design, which is a London-based design school. And I did a distance course, so only some regular visits to the school, but mostly was done by distance, which was quite a novelty at the time, but nowadays the norm for so many different careers. And I happened to be in the British Virgin Islands in the Caribbean at the time, and I also got to do my first design project there, an entire villa, and ended up winning an award for the kitchen. And that kind of like set me off. And from that moment, I knew that, you know, I wanted to have my own business. And it's always kind of like been in the back of my mind, like a dream to have my own design business. And that's how I got started.
Absolutely amazing. It sounds a really gorgeous career you've had. Did you want to say something, Sam?
Well, first of all, just in between the drilling, just the thought of being somewhere exotic like that, you could just feel the heat on the back of your neck and the warmth, which sounds just idyllic at the moment. But anyway, being somebody that's just going through a big renovation at home, and somebody that's not creative in any sense, and actually the interior design is stressing me out slightly, because I have no clue. What would be the biggest tip that you would give to somebody that's embracing on a big project at home?
Oof, that's a loaded question. Well, I think the main thing is to really get very clear what you're trying to achieve. It's just like, you know, you can't, if you get in the car and you don't know where you're going, you're never going to get there, really. So it's kind of like understanding what's your goal, what's your end goal, what you're trying to achieve, what's the feeling you want to achieve. How do you want to feel in the space? You know, what's the emotions? Like, just imagine walking into your front door, or what is the feeling you want to experience when you walk into that front door? And then use that to start creating that clear path and that concept of, in design is called the design concept. You know, the colors, the shapes, the type of furniture, the style, because there's so much out there. But it's important to just really have a clear vision, and then you stick to that no matter what, and leave out all the distractions. So, I don't know if that helps, but
it's lovely. Yeah, something that I've been really intrigued by over the last year during the Zoom world is how people represent themselves on Zoom and what their backgrounds are like. I don't know about, I know. You know, I know it's beautiful, and I go onto some Zooms with people when I'm looking for experts that can support us in our community. And those hideous backgrounds, you know, they're messy or something else. Immediately, I think, oh no, it's. I don't know if you've sort of thought about that when you're looking at people on Zoom. Is that something you've become aware of?
Absolutely. Yes, very much so. I mean, it's obviously there's the virtual backgrounds, which I think is always a good escape if you cannot, create the background of sorts. It's just, I think it's important to have a somewhat neutral background, and interesting, but a bit neutral, because you don't want to distract from, your face or what you're saying. It's still, I think there's still, more opportunity out there, let's say.
I think you're right. I mean, I've got
creative backgrounds. I like the turquoise wall that Sam has. Turquoise is my favorite color.
Yeah, that is nice. I look like it was my birthday at the weekend, so I agree with you that you don't want too much clutter, do you, as well? Even though I'm quite cluttered today. Yeah.
But
so it's been a fascinating career.
No, I was going to say boutique hotels are just so lovely, and they're kind of a relatively new thing of the last 20 years or so. Are there current trends? I know you're not in that world exactly, but are there trends going forward that you can see developing now in the world of luxury hotels?
Well, I mean, I don't do this luxury design. I mean, as in luxury hotel design. This is my previous career. So the only way I've been following the hotel industry is over the last few years is more as a visitor, as a guest, because I also write a blog, and in that blog I kind of married my two passions: my love for hotels, because I still love beautiful hotels, obviously. Who doesn't? and also I enjoy writing, and I like to analyze design. So I visit boutique hotels. I haven't done any last year, unfortunately, for obvious reasons, but I visit boutique hotels and then write about the design of these hotels. What I've noticed is generally it's either hotels that tell a story, so some kind of theme, or it's about giving a sense of place to the space, because I think a lot of years, I mean, it's a bit on both ends of the spectrum, to be honest, but I feel the sense of place is really important, because at the end of the day, if you're in the Caribbean, you want to feel like you're in the Caribbean, versus if you're in the mountains, you want to feel like you're in the mountains, and if you're in the city, you want to feel like you're in the city. So it's kind of like also creating that environment that that makes you live that experience even more, basically.
I love that, and I love such a fascinating journey. And I think, am I right? Would it be Cocktails and Dreams that was the bar that was in the film that probably got you started?
That's right.
It has a lot to do for a lot of us, and it sounds like you've kind of really embraced that view of going out there and just creating your dream world. So what advice would you give for people who are nervous about, can they take that leap? Can they go and trust their dream and make it a reality?
I mean, to be honest, at the time, like I said, I was very young. I didn't really think about it. And I think that's the best thing, is to not think too much. Because nowadays, and also myself, as I get older, I think too much about things and what could go wrong, and, how it could be, and all of that. So sometimes it's just, I believe that our gut feeling, or, our instincts, they know exactly. It knows exactly what is right for us. So it's, sometimes with age or with experience that we have, and, some backlashes or fallbacks or failure, so to speak, even though failure, I think, is the biggest teacher of all. I think it's, it's just trying to come back to that space where you just trust your own instinct. And if you feel that this is what you really need and want to do, then just go for it and do it. Because at the end of the day, nobody knows what would have happened if you chose another route. And you'll never know. So there's no point in thinking about it, because once we've gone a certain path, we follow that, and there's always a way of, going another direction again. So it's just important to keep, stopping and just analyzing, and then make the next step.
So sorry, Penny, go.
I love it. On your blog, you say transform your space, transform your life. And I was thinking about, we've all been so in our homes, and have you noticed a massive shift in people realizing the importance of investing in their home over the last year?
To some extent, yes. I mean, there is a lot of, it is obviously become a front of mind. It has become a subject more than ever. And people, this is something I personally have been preaching for years, how important the home is and, you know, how it affects our health and well-being, because I truly believe that. And I've experienced that myself personally. Like I said, the many times I've moved. And it is affecting. I mean, the pandemic has affected interior design, the world of interior design, in so many ways. And for one, it's as you pointed out, obviously the home office and how we use our space has completely changed. And it's quite interesting that for many years, especially in terms of architecture and layouts, we were going to its open plan, open plan kitchen, open plan living, open plan everything. And I think the pandemic has kind of made people realize, oh my God, it is so nice to have a door that you can just close sometimes, to withdraw and have your own privacy, or just quiet, or if you need to focus on work or have a Zoom call or whatever. So I think that will definitely affect how we design in the future. And I believe that also overall how we use our space has obviously home offices and the home office design and furniture, because there's office furniture and then there's home furniture. So I think we'll see an increase in home-like office furniture in the future, because home office is probably going to, is a trend that's here to stay, not only because of the pandemic, but it's also shown big corporations in particular that actually it works and it saves them money. So, from what I understand, there's a lot of offices, buildings are being reused and all of that. So I think that's definitely a trend. At the same time, I think the trends have been affected because on one hand, we realize that comfort, there's a strong need for comfort and nostalgia at the moment. And that has led to interior design, which is more like, earthy colors and natural materials. Rattan is really booming. Also, 1970s, a revival of the 1970s. And I find it so fascinating because for my design school, I had to study history of styles, obviously. And that's something I've always enjoyed from when I was very young. And in history of styles, you could always see the parallels between what was going on in the world and how design and architecture was affected. So, how, wars or whatever, certain global events had, the industrialization, etc., had an effect on interior design and how we build our homes and our buildings in general. But this was always in retrospect or in hindsight. So to actually live in a time where you can actually see it happening as it's happening, I find that absolutely fascinating, because the pandemic obviously is speeding up this change and it's happening as we're living it, which is quite unique. So you have on one hand, like I mentioned, this more earthly, more the comfort, the nostalgia, the revival of the 70s, for instance. And, it's a new interpretation of the 70s, but it's still a lot of influence from the 70s. Then there's travel-inspired trends. So everything jungle, exotic, and safari. I don't know, you may have seen it, but there's these wild, bold patterns out there with tropical leaves and, giraffes and whatever, and monkeys and all of that. So that is completely trending at the moment. Again, for obvious reasons, because people are kind of stuck at home, so they need to travel vicariously somehow. And at the same time, there is this sense of minimalism for a certain group of people who realize, what's really important is the connections we make, the people in our lives, our families, and not so much materialistic things. So that's leading more to a minimalistic approach. And on the opposite side, there is a trend for maximalism, which is quite extreme at the moment. So there is, you would have these very bold colors and bright patterns and big, ginormous, whatever art objects, etc. And so it's all happening at the same time. And I personally, as long as I can remember, and even from my studies, I've never seen this many trends, like so contrasting trends happening at the same time. And I think that's kind of a reflection in itself of what we're all going through globally at the moment, you know. So there's so much going on, and people are going on different paths. So it's it's quite interesting to see.
It's lovely that so many eclectic designs are going down now. It's not one theme. And I'm probably more of the maximalist than the minimalist. And when I bought this chandelier up here, I can hardly get it in the room. The chandelier is bigger than my office. I was like, I'm the CEO of my own office. I'm going to have this big chandelier up here. And I just wanted it. And actually, it works very well in a small room, strangely. But I do encourage my clients and my coaches to have a lovely home working space. It makes all the difference.
It does, yeah.
It does. I mean, I said that to Caroline before we all came on, that all these flowers, I had them in the kitchen and in my sitting room, but I wasn't seeing them because I'm sitting here for 10 hours a day. And I thought, well, actually, I'm seeing these flowers that I've been sent for my birthday more watching them through a screen on Zoom. And what I really also liked about what you said is I've also moved a lot over the last 10 years. And what I really discover is if you invest in buying lovely things that you can take from place to place, I think that's I imagine with you saying you've moved a lot, that's what I has kept me saying. And wherever I've gone, my kids have always said it feels exactly the same as the last house. Because I've brought in all the special things that make our house home.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it's a combination of those items that make you comfortable and make you feel at home, and they don't need to be anything big. But like a sofa, it can just be in a special vase or a special painting or something. But it's just, it's part of your journey, and at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. That your home should also tell your journey, I think.
That's lovely, Simone. Thank you. Unfortunately, time has caught up with us. We've got 3 minutes left. And what we normally do at this time is go around the room and share a little tip that our viewers can take away. So we'll start with you, Simone. Is there anything that you would like to share, a little industry insider tip to leave with us?
Well, I think in general, it's just important to, if anything, the pandemic has taught us anything, it's just to learn to adapt and to, keep an open mind. And I think, it's been mentioned before, it's about, really also connecting with people and asking for help when you need it. And especially when you're working as all of us do on by yourself. And I think there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there that work for themselves. It's just to really create that little community, whatever community it is. So you have somebody that you can exchange ideas with. I personally have an accountability partner that I've been having for 3-4 years now. And he's in a completely different business. He's in the wine business. He's actually a Londoner who was living in Switzerland, but now moved back to London. And we still have our regular calls. Every 2 weeks, we have a call. And, it's just about exchanging ideas and also, telling each other, maybe similar what you do, what's going on and so forth. So.
That's great, Simone. Thank you very much. Samantha, Sam.
I only ever get called Samantha by my mum if I'm naughty. I think I'm going to follow on from what Simone just said, and that's about find your tribe, find your support network. You all know that I love peer groups, and I can see, I've just spent an awful long time with peer groups. I can see the benefit, the value in just feeling supported. So I'm with you, Simone. Find your tribe.
Thank you very much. Penny, a tip for us?
Well, I think I've fallen in love with these 2 little ducks that have started visiting us, and having an empty nest and our final of our 3 dogs being put down 3 weeks ago. I realised that my ducks have made me feel needed again. And I thought, you know, we all do need to feel that we matter. And so my tip would be, you know, I started the show talking about, you know, the loneliness of being over-connected, but not connected in the right way. Maybe reach out and find out who actually needs you at the moment.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you. My tip would be, if you do need to go shopping for shelving, things to make your office fabulous, a nice cushion for behind your back, some candles. Make your office space as delightful. You're doing 10 hours on Zoom. Make it the most comfortable, beautiful 10 hours you can. I'm leaving it with you, Kim, to round up. Thank you very much, everybody.
Well, what can I say? It's been an amazing, amazing chat as always. It's such amazing advice for us all. And I would probably follow on from what you've all said in some way, which is I'm going to use a quote because everybody knows me, knows I love a quote. And that's from Maya Angelou, which is be the rainbow in somebody's day. So actually, if we all go out there and try really hard to be the rainbow in somebody's day, imagine the positive impact and ripple we're going to have in the world. And hopefully that encapsulates what you guys were all talking about too. So if you would like to join us here and take Simone's seat, then please do get in touch at www.businessblondes.tv. And in the interim, we wish you all a really, really happy rest of the week. Simone, thank you, everybody. See you next week.
Thank you very much.